Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is for educational purpose only. This is all my thoughts, speculations, and nothing else. May the victims rest in peace. Condolence to the families. Eric Garwell. Eric Garwell was a private share driver that drove Kaylee G and Maddie Morgan home at 1:56 a.m. That was confirmed by Kaylee's sister Olivia. She said that she saw it from the neighbor's doorbell camera. So Kaylee texted Eric G. They ditched Shawalter. They jumped on the private ride that should have taken 6 minutes to drive them home. Eric Garwell contacted the police himself. I found that to be strange. Jovito from the grub truck said that he contacted the police. I wonder why the police wasn't contacting the people who saw the victim's loss. Eric Garwell, his wife allegedly works for IDAHO Moscow police, and he doesn't live far from Brian Christopher Koberger. He's never done an interview directly with mainstream news channels, but he's spoken to some reporters, and he said everything seemed to be fine. He said he drove the girls home. They were just discussing their food, that they were going to share the food. They were laughing, talking, but they did not speak about anything else. I find that difficult to believe, because you can picture Maddie and Kaylee just ditched Shawalter. Wouldn't they be scared that Shawalter could be waiting for them at home? Because he's their next door neighbor. He lives a minute away from them. It'd be interesting to find out more about Eric Garwell. Eric Garwell is important too, because apparently Dylan Mortensen, one of the surviving roommates, texted Garwell. She asked Eric, "Are you driving?" And he said, "Yes, I'm driving." Did she have a change of mind? Or was that a code that the coast is clear? Allegedly. Why would you ask a driver if he's driving and then you don't contact him back? I find that to be strange. Does Eric Garwell know the frat boys? The frats, the sororities? I would assume, because there's only 4 to 5 drivers who drive these kids home. And if he saw anything, I'm sure the frats warned him, or the suspects warned him, to keep quiet. Isn't it strange that nobody seems to be talking? Whether it's the driver, whether it's the neighbors, whether it's the people at the corner club, nobody seems to be saying a word. Was the frats and Shawalter and Jack D threatening everyone allegedly?
It's the chilling last photo of 4 University of Idaho students taken just hours before they were found murdered. They were identified as freshman Ethan Chapman, his girlfriend Zana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan. It's being called a crime of passion. The killer or killers used an edged weapon such as a knife, police just revealed. I spoke with Kaylee Gonzalez's sister, Olivia, who described the last night of the students' lives.
My sisters did everything right. They went out in the buddy system. They went out together. They Ubered out. They stopped and got food. They Ubered home. They let their dog out to go potty, and then they locked their house up. Ubered home. They let their dog out to go potty, and then they locked their house up. Everything right. And this still happened.
So the girls Ubered home with a private share driver, Eric Gower. They were at home at 1:56. The police said 1:45. It wasn't right. It was 1:56. Alvira would know that better. Did someone attack Kaylee and Maddie when they got off the car? I believe Alvira if she said that they let their dog out to potty, they locked the doors, and this still happened. So she must have seen enough on the camera to understand that the girls weren't attacked when they came home. But I'm starting to re-evaluate everything, especially the fact that the Gongalves have been telling us everything from the beginning. We don't know what is true or what is false, what they're adding or what they are subtracting from this case. The case is supposed to be on gag order. So Maddie and Kaylee were at the corner club with Jack D. They left and reached the grub truck at 1:44. We see David Loachs' white truck driving towards the corner club, allegedly. We heard that Shawalter was thrown out for harassing Kaylee. He was thrown out of his flats for sexual harassing women. Ethan reported him, so he had plenty of motives and plenty of targets, in my opinion, allegedly. Was David Loachs coming to pick Jack D up and Adam, allegedly? Just wondering. This is where the doorbell footage was taken of the white truck. Pay attention to the white truck at Kings Road. That was exactly at 1:56 a.m. Isn't that strange? Because Kaylee and Maddie came home at 1:56 a.m. So David Loachs was hanging around Kings Road. He was waiting for Maddie and Kaylee to come home. Ouch. That is really sad. That is the house in Kings Road, a couple of blocks from the victim's house. You can see it has a camera and it has a light. This is a camera that took the picture at 1:56 a.m. David Loachs' white truck is driving in front of this house. So he was near the scene of the crimes. He must have been following Kaylee and Maddie being dropped off by Eric Gower. Wonder if he was actually contacting Eric Gower and asking him, how far are y'all? Which road are y'all taking? Were they texting each other allegedly? And could he have attacked the girls when they got off the cab? Because Maddie, his black coat was found in the bushes. Did he attack them then? Or did he wait and come back an hour later? Did David Loachs and David B follow the 4chan pre-planned unalivings they were going to do? The 19-minute theory? Could that be possible? Now, is the prosecutor trying to tell us that allegedly Brian Koberger's white Hyundai Elantra, that his light is flashing from there, passed the white truck that we see on the left-hand side? That is David Loachs' truck, allegedly. So did those two trucks just, the truck and the white Hyundai Elantra, just pass each other? Or did Loach park his white truck there? Was it standing there for a while? This is really odd because this white truck was seen at 1:56. And if Koberger's white Hyundai Elantra or the suspect vehicle 1 was passing at 3:30 or 3:25, then that white truck was still parked there. Now the Davids live at the Sigma Chi. Where would the car or the white truck be parked here? Question mark. Were they stalking Maddie and Kaylee? That would be a good view. If they are parked there, they could see Xana and Ethan walking home and laughing and talking. They would have seen Maddie and Kelly getting off the car. But that is the camera. Thank God. That was recording everything. I personally believe that this is some good evidence if it comes out in trial. Loach had already brewing beef with Xana and E. Maddie was one of his targets. Enormous told us he was going to do it in 19 minutes. 1:56. Look at the timeline. Look at the white truck on the left, near that big house that was recording everything. What was David Loach's white truck doing here? And what was David Loach's white truck doing when it was driving towards the grub truck at 1:25? This white truck was everywhere. That's why I believe the Sigma Chi frats and the other frats were involved. Allegedly. So that is one camera I showed y'all. This is the second camera, the main camera that heard the loud thud from Xana's room. And there's another third camera that I will be sharing with y'all within this week. I'm trying to put it in together, the puzzle. I could be completely wrong, but it looks like there's a lot of truth in this. Things are starting to add up now. So I think this is important, that David Loach's white truck is either parked in front of that house that is recording all the cars passing by. It would have recorded Maddie and Kaylee coming home too. Is this what they're trying to hide from us, I wonder? The facts are there. And I've heard many YouTube creators and many mainstream news channels saying that Kober's defense attorney is trying it to delay this trial and buy time. No, they're not. Who asked Dateline, Howard Bloom, and the mainstream news channels to be breaching someone's Sixth Amendment rights? How can this young man get a fair trial if they're already not only accusing and charging him of this crime, they look like they've already finished the trial? and that he's found guilty of it, when is he going to get a fair trial? When they're leaking out not only information, most likely false information, because they're making the frats look innocent when they're not. They all are carrying at the grub truck. Everyone's entitled to a fair right of having a fair trial. This is not fair. Let's go back to David Loachs, underdog. That's what he calls himself on YouTube, at least. When he was busy threatening me, David Loachs, I've always told you I got my eyes on you, and now I got my eyes on your truck. What is your white truck doing there on the 13th of November 2022 at 1:56 when Eric Gower drove Maddie and Kaylee at home? They all knew it was going down. These young victims were backdoored properly. Half of the frats and sororities, I believe, were in it, and the other half was too scared to talk. This is when the officers found Maddie's coat in the bushes. Could Maddie have run down the steps and the alleyway to run away from whoever was attacking her? Could that be possible? Because I see David Loach's white truck at 1:56 on Kings Road, the same time the girls came home. In my opinion.
Who was likely the very last man to see Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez alive, is speaking to News Nation tonight. The Uber driver who brought the kids home the night of the murders, Kaylee's family reported that their daughter had indeed ordered an Uber, and now the man who drove them is revealing exclusive details to us about that ride home and what the girls said in the back of that car. News Nation correspondent Alex Capriello is live tonight. He tracked him down. He joins me from outside the home in Moscow. That was a very difficult task. Tell me what you found out, Alex.
Yeah, I was able to find this rideshare driver. He's one of only about 4 here in the Moscow area. So I was able to track down that phone number and give him a call personally, speak to him. I asked him point blank, hey, are you the guy who drove Kaylee and Maddie home that night? And to his credit, he was very transparent, very honest, very open, almost immediately with me.
Well, understandably, he has said, Alex, that he is very concerned. It's a small community. He doesn't want to be on camera, but he was very revealing in what he told you about that ride home. Start there. What did the girls talk about in the back seat?
Well, he said that it was actually a rather innocent conversation from the beginning. You might remember that he picked up these 2 girls from that grub truck. It's the food truck that's located right in downtown Moscow. And really, he said that was the center of their conversation. The entire 5-minute ride home was about their mac and cheese carbonara that they were planning on splitting when they got back to the house. He said that he's picked them up in the past, not only these 2 girls, but Xana as well. And he said that in the past, they've talked about boys and drama and college life, but not this time around. It was just a very normal, innocent conversation about their food and how they were going to share it when they got home.
So that's also revealing that he knew them. He had them in the car multiple times before. This is a small town, so if they've taken an Uber a couple of times, it would be likely that he'd be the driver. And he said, indeed, he knew them. He knew all 3 of them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He said that obviously as one of only about 4 rideshare drivers in this area, he picks up these girls a lot. And not to mention, we already know that this is so close to Frat Row. And of course, we've reported that this is a party house. So a lot of times students would come here. And so he said that Xana, that Kaylee and Maddie were no strangers to them. He's given them rides home from the bars, home from work, home from school. So he knows them. He has driven them before. But Back again to this, he said that there was nothing out of the ordinary that night, that right now, or in that moment, that it was just an innocent conversation. Of course, the frats were bumping on a Saturday night, but here at the house, it was quiet, and he saw nothing out of the usual.
So there was nothing unusual, but the frats was bumping. They were bumping, I'm sure. Wasn't there a fight with the Sigma Chief frats, with Zan and E? What was going on that night? David Loachs' white truck was at Kings Road, and Kaylee and Maddie got home at 11:56. At the same time, David Loachs' white truck was seen at Kings Road on the camera. Did the frats divide themselves? Like some of them were at the grub truck doing their surveillance, some of them were taking care, I hate to say that, of poor Zan and E, and David Loach and maybe David B, allegedly, and some of the other few were waiting for Maddie and Kaylee to come home. Why did Maddie Morgan call Bethany Funk at 2:53? 2:55 is when we hear a female yelling, "Stop it, stop." I think the truth is finally coming out. And I ain't going to let this case go cold. And I'm not going to let the frats get cold. In my opinion, the frats are all involved. Not every single member of all the frats, but few members. Some of the names I've mentioned, and some of the other names I'm holding back for now, because I'm researching behind the scenes, observing and analyzing clips from the beginning, and it's paying off. I'm really happy that I found David Loach's white truck at Kings Road at 1:56. He has some explaining to do. Please like, share, and subscribe. Justice for these 4 precious victims. Condolence to their families.